it's Flannel Boy, and wow, I've been doing way too much music on this thing. So today, I'm gonna do a book/movie series, Harry Potter. But I love Harry Potter! I've also been using you too much as well, so be gone! Yes, the fantasy series for the new millennium, Harry won over American, British, and worldwide audiences alike with his charming friends. And I must not tell lies, there is a lot I like about this. First of all, I appreciate the humor. The series is intentionally and sometimes unintentionally goofy. The names are priceless. I mean, Ron Weasley and Harry Potter are fairly standard, but Godric Gryffindor, Severus Snape, Draco Malfoy, Albus Dumbledore, I'm pretty sure that these are stage names. I love their pointless ignorance of Muggle technology.
Tell me, what exactly is the function of a rubber duck?
I love their Muggle studies course that's apparently everything else we learn that should be much more important to their everyday lives than everything else. I love the word Muggle. I love Quidditch, which I think is supposed to be a parody of sports because it's just a joke. I'm an American in college. We take sports seriously. But seeing them going crazy over a sport where a majority of the players are flying around for something that has no impact on the outcome of the game is hilarious. Perhaps JK was poking some fun at the hooligans she knew, huh? I love how every character has this great personality, on screen or on page. And my favorite has gotta be Snape. Oh, look at that, Nemo kid all grown up. Oh, okay. Well, this is embarrassing. Apparently that was a photo of Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails. This is Snape. And he don't take none of Harry's nonsense neither. Didn't like Harry as much. He's like the emo kid who never grew up. The whole Chosen One thing is kind of unworthily thrust on him, and for a savior, he's a real jerk. Plus, he can't pronounce anything right. I mean, the word anything.
Do something! What? Anything!
No, it's pronounced Leviosa. Also, Neville is badass. Like, they did it specifically in the last half of the films, but Neville really holds the fort down and doesn't take any of this black magic crap. You have an unstoppable army and a bajillion Horcruxes on whole eugenics agenda? Well, your unstoppable army just got stopped! 'Cause Neville eats people like you for breakfast. You know what? He was the chosen one the whole time. He had to be, because he was the coolest thing in the movie. Like, I half expected him to just ride up to that giant army on a motorcycle and take out half of them with a shotgun, because that's how Neville rolls. Yeah, laugh at his stupid name, but Neville ain't playing around. You're a wizard, Neville, and you are the chosen one.
But I am the chosen one. Okay, sorry.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Hermione is also this big no-nonsense character who isn't an idiot and is the reason Harry hasn't been killed 17 ways by now. She will whack Harry over the head if he gets out of line.
Sorry.
She will punch Draco in the nose. She will yell at Ron if he deserves it. But she's not all straight and narrow. She's doing polyjuice in the restroom. She's subverting authority with Dumbledore's army. She's always
up to something.
And you guys thought she just looked attractive. No, she acts it. And then there's this whole scene where the band is playing at the Yule Ball, and the band is this combination of Radiohead and Pope, which is so awesomely British and 90s. How can we get this to happen again? I love that 50s teenager ghost and the ditzy girl whose nonsense phrases make sense because she's at Hogwarts and John Cleese. I love the concept of Hogwarts, and the Sorting Hat, and the Whomping Willow, and the Marauders map, and everything else that's so whimsical. That is the true magic of this world. But apparently people hate happy little kid stuff because after Edward got axed, everything went to hell. Not that it was bad immediately, but it was a lot more serious, and they were living through hell. Like fire and damnation raining from the heavens, killing Muggle and Wizard alike, in search of this boy. Dude, he's like kind of a jerk, but he's not even worth it. Seriously, just leave the kid alone. It's bad enough he gets a migraine every time he has a dream. So yeah, mid-series is when Voldy... just look at the guy. You know, I'm beginning to buy that Robot Chicken episode about the origin of his evil because he has no nose. He has no nose. Also, am I the only one who doesn't get the whole wand thing? When two wands do that thing, who wins? Whoever has better concentration? Whoever pointed it the straightest? Whoever it's convenient to win at that time? Why do you even need wands? You don't need words, apparently, as half the spells they use are just... Yes! The most terrible curse of all! Most wizards don't use wands half the time. Why do you need them if they just look stupid?
Phallic symbol, phallic symbol.
Oh yes, right. Right, so the film series gets dark both thematically and literally, as everybody's put through a dark green filter. I don't see Mr. Sun at all through the last 3 films. I'm going to assume Harry moved to Mordor or something. These films got way too big for their britches. You know the first film, when I was 7 and it was fun and light? Yeah, this is a whole different genre, and I can't wrap my head around the fact that both these are the same film series. Which, actually, is a good way to show that Harry's growing up. This might have been a good artistic choice, actually. Well played, director. Who directed these things? Oh, different people? Well, then that's why they've changed. And here begin my lengthy list of complaints, which none of them on their own is enough to sink the series, but you guys should know better. For example, the Time Turner. If you're going to be a serious film series, as you clearly want to be, you can't have a gigantic plot hole like that. Time travel never works in a serious capacity. Well, maybe sometimes, but only when it's well explained. Usually, it either accidentally creates a predestined universe in which the actions of the characters don't matter, or it fails to get rid of time paradoxes satisfactorily. This is the former. But I'm going to ignore it because this is the part of the series before Sparkle Vampire died, and therefore the part where the plot doesn't matter as much as the whimsy. Also, the direness of the situation is actually undercut when you let Muggles get attacked, because you can't just imply we can't and won't defend ourselves against what is essentially a terrorist threat. If that bridge gets blown up and the PM knows about it, Voldy and his pals are looking down a UK military with intelligence and weaponry that they can't possibly defend themselves against with their knowledge of Muggle technology.
What exactly is the function of a rubber duck?
But I'm going to ignore that because, I don't know, maybe Voldy's a war buff. And the cliche where you don't tell anybody anything that could save your lives because, I don't know, it might scare them. Dumbledore, I'm looking at you. Both of you. Why isn't there a bigger search party for these Horcruxes than 2? And why didn't you tell Harry about the prophecy, or alert the school that they're in danger, like ever?
Because she wouldn't have believed me. She had to learn it for herself.
Reveal your secrets. You know, it's your fault half of these kids almost got killed, or worse, expelled. But I will ignore this, because everybody uses this stupid plot contrivance. But now it's shark jumping time. The date is March 13th, 2008. This is the date that Warner Brothers announced that the final Harry Potter book would be made into 2 films instead of 1. And this I have a problem with. Peter Jackson, pay attention. Together, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows takes over 4.5 hours to watch. The other films were 2 and change, even The Order of the Phoenix, which was the longest book. Why did they need to pad this one out? From the films, I'm guessing you wanted to make the death scenes more dramatic because a lot of people died in the last book, but the last book was shorter because it didn't dwell on deaths as much as the action sequences, which is why I'm putting the shark jumping where it properly lies. As a film, it just comes off as boring. Yes, the film that had Neville with a sword chopping off the head of a snake was boring. How dare you make Neville boring? Wait, why is the snake turning into the smoke monster from Lost? And yeah, they did make the death scenes dramatic, and they muted the battle scenes like this was the 300, but since when was Harry Potter an action movie? And where's the fun? Now this is just personal, but there aren't any Hogwarts antics in this one. A quarter of the whole film series, and no Fred and George pranks? No stumbling over your lines for Cho? No screwing with Draco? No messing up Defense Against the Dark Arts? Oh, before I forget, Best Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher goes to Kenneth Branagh for being so full of himself. To me, the concept of having a wizarding school was the primary one for the Harry Potter series, not Harry's Wizard War. They gave me that for the first 5 films, and then left it hanging the last 3. I guess the best representation of that was when they killed Fred. No, not that Fred. This is a character people would actually miss. I'm not really big on the whole content of the last film trying to jerk all these tears out of the audience by killing off a swath of characters that you got emotionally invested in by watching them have fun at the awesomest high school ever. But it didn't work on me. But the film spends basically all its time attempting to make you feel for their characters. I really don't go into a Harry Potter movie expecting to grieve for people the whole time, and even then, it shouldn't take 2 hours. And that's one of the reasons I can't really remember much from either of these movies. At all. I mean, the first few were completely classic. I can quote the first 4 verbatim. All the jokes, all the awkward teen stuff, even the action-y parts had me. This one had one main takeaway. And it works on its own as a short film. Yeah, the 3 brothers. Great animation. Would have gone great before a Pixar film. An excellent couple of minutes to look at. Seriously, I don't remember anything else. Basically, the whole thing is longer than it should be, boring, a generic action film with an overwhelming evil army, an incompetent main character, and shot through a green lens. So it's The Matrix. Hedwig! You killed Hedwig! For no reason other than to do this to me, you killed the owl. Nobody wanted to kill the owl. Why couldn't it have been the butterflies? Hedwig was such a great bird that they wrote the main movie theme about her. John Williams is a musical genius, and he dedicates the most magical song ever to this white owl, and now the owl's dead, and they keep playing it like it's Harry's theme. Harry is nothing. Nothing without his owl! Oh, you're just mad because your favorite characters got killed. Not to be rude or anything, but this isn't a great time to have you in my bedroom. Also, I disappeared you. Like this. Oh, poor Hedwig. But you know, she's better off now that she's about to be avenged! Rowling, WB, Yates, you're all partly at fault for this. Do you hate your fans? I can't see any other reason for making the entire last film about killing off characters from what was originally a series for younger kids. It's like if the last episode of the Magic School Bus had Miss Frizzle crashing the bus and everyone dying. No science, just all the catchphrasy little kids you all knew lying in a heap on the side of the highway. And I know this one had orphans and dark magic from the beginning, but it still makes me feel that way. And Hedwig was just the icing on the cake. You who betrayed your fans, whose heart's wrought with murder. Innocent blood has been shed, and you will pay for your... Wow. Wow. I've never been possessed before. Well, that's... What's this? What's going on? This is beautiful. I don't even feel angry anymore. This is... Strip this scene of all context for a second. No wizards, no war, no nothing. Just Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson dancing to some emotional Nick Cave song. And they look sad, like a depressed pair of youths, as youths tend to be. But sometimes when your world is all dark and green-tinted and stacked against you, you can find solace in music and dance and love, and these are things that, no matter what your little world can conspire against you, are always going to be there for you. It's a hopeful message, and it's powerful. No words spoken, no magic but the rhythm. Thank you, you giant four-headed Australian. You brought hope back to a sad franchise. It really reminds everyone that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, when one only remembers to turn on the light. That scene alone I would watch the movies for. If they killed Harry, Hagrid, and Hermione, and all the Weasleys, if Hogwarts got blown up and the humans all died, if Neville went out in a 300-style blaze of glory, it would not be as powerfully emotional as that scene. Wow, that's a dark alternate ending. 2008, the year Harry Potter jumped the shark. Now excuse me, I have to go vomit.